Hello, Mgtows. Hello, man. I hope you're all doing well today. I'll wait for a second now. Hello, man. I hope you're all doing well today. There we go. There we go. We got everything we need. Still screwing with the lights on this thing. You can see there's a lot of light in the room, but it's still not taking care of some of the stuff that it's supposed to take care of, like a little flickering around my beard and everything. But today I wanted to talk about that. It's 2020, man, and you know what that means. The American elections are coming up, and there's going to be a lot of things that go on in Mgtow that you're going to see this year, and especially you're going to see entryists into Mgtow. You're going to see a lot of political entryists. You're going to see Tradcons pretending like they're Mgtow, pretending like they're the party that's going to cure all of your woes. We've been hearing this now for a very long time. It's always the same people, the Tradcons, and it's a big con. And lately, I've been wondering if a lot of Mgtows know what Tradcons are, and if you go back on Barbarossa's original videos and the way we thought back then in 2012 and the previous and earlier and everything, one of the biggest problems in men's rights that we identified. Hello, Hank. One of the biggest problems in men's rights that we identified was the traditional conservative. We call them a Tradcon. I know it's a repetitive form, but it really means two different things. And I always thought it was a repetitive form of it, but it means he's traditional. He wants to go back to traditional 1950s. He wants a female fat and pregnant in the kitchen. That is so unrealistic. A lot of things come with Tradcons. They represented a lot of the things we say. They represent the white knight. They represent the simp. He wants a simp. And he really doesn't he wants her fat and pregnant so he can stick it in her every day. And that's really kind of a disgusting thing. What Mgtows really want most of all is that we don't want to have to fill the traditional male roles. And the traditional male roles are get married, go to work, be the protector and provider. Them are traditional roles. Get married, go to work, be the protector of a provider, give up your life for the woman. That's a Tradcon. They're going to come in a whole bunch of different ways to this thing, and they're going to try to infiltrate Mgtow. There's a lot of entryism in Mgtow. Mgtow is a pretty big group, and it's a pretty big influential group. It's whisper, hush, hush behind the scenes most of the time. But when we talk about a lot of things, and we talk about what we would like. My ideas about the traditional conservative is that bridge, that's over. That time has passed. Postmodernism came in with it. It brought feminism, and feminism doesn't want to be fat and pregnant in the kitchen, cooking and pregnant and sitting around all day wishing she had a lover, a real lover, because at a certain point you're not going to be able to fulfill those needs in her, and that's where it always goes. One of the biggest reasons for divorce in America is traditional conservatism. You get conned into this, believing that she's going to be happy sitting there in the eating bonbons on the couch and not going to work and not having a life and not going to college, and that's not going to happen. There's too much water underneath the bridge, and your idea, and it's repressive too, and there's a repressive idea in there. But as long as these Tradcons come in here, they're trying to convince her to do the traditional female role. Along with the traditional female role, you will be expected to do the traditional male role. You will be the protector. You will be the provider. You will be the guardian. You will be the guy doling out the money. In the end, and we all know how this goes, you will be the guy sitting there with a stupid look on your face when that judge, with a stroke of a pen, says, "You're no longer a father." And you go, "What? I believed in this. I believed in this traditional conservative thing that you said. I believed in this world of of everything's going to be perfect. This fantasy fiction world that this Disney world that she wasn't going to get antsy and she was just going to like being fat and pregnant on the couch. No, she's not going to like that, and she's going to dream of lovers, and she's going to dream of adventure. And that's probably going to be that adventure while you're at work, working your butt off in a 116-degree shop if you work in a steel mill and working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week to try to fulfill those roles. Now, I know that'll kill you early. That will kill you early, but it's election season. And I've already seen remnants of Joseph Paul Watson coming around trying to convince men that conservatism and traditional conservatism is the way to go. It's not the way to go. A matter of fact, to be a Mgtow, to be a real Mgtow, you want to shed. You're very progressive in your ways. You want to get rid of divorce, so you have to get rid of marriage. And what you really don't want is to fill those traditional male roles where you're expected to do all those things and she has no agency. But that's where these guys want to go back. We've seen it in the last Trump election. We were so inundated with traditional conservatism in there, and then they all left. And they left these remnants of these Tradcons around here that think that's Mgtow. That's not Mgtow. Mgtow in itself is very Mgtow in itself is very progressive. We do not want marriages. We do not want traditional roles for males to fill. We do not want females to fill traditional roles. We don't even think about those things because we know where they lead to. They lead to a bunch of disappointment. They lead to unhappiness. They lead to pain. They lead to suffering. They lead to a lot of things that you're generally not going to get in life. Men, as I always say, imagine yourself happy. Imagine yourself happy like Sisyphus. Imagine Sisyphus happy. Imagine yourself happy. Those traditional conservatives are going to come around and all they really want is the vote. All they really want is and then they'll leave. And then their party, whoever it is, and we can see it with Trump, they don't care about men's rights. They have no clue what men's rights are. They just want to come into Mgtow and men's rights and pretend that they're your best buddy. Every politician's your best buddy during election year. And every one of them is going to tell you, oh, we care about men. And really, they don't give a shit about men. They could give a damn about men. All they want is men back on the farm, working hard and playing their games so the billionaires can make money and they can keep making money. It doesn't work out. There's only one way to go, and it's this way. It's the Mgtow way. And that's it. And I'm sorry it's that way. I wish it was some other way in life. And I wish there was some politician that was married. First thing you'll see is one of the I can't pronounce that word right now. One of the things that you have to be to become president, even a governor or even a senator or a congressman or whatever it is you're like to become, there's one thing in this country that's sure you have to do. You have to be married to have those jobs. Only 2% of those people are unmarried. And there's a reason for that. Either their wife died or some other bizarre reason they got elected. 2% of those people will be unmarried. That means nothing's getting passed through Congress in men's rights. Nothing is getting passed through Congress in America for men's rights because 98% of those people are married and believe in marriage. And they want those taxes to keep rolling in. They want the men to keep slaving. They want the women in those traditional roles, fat and pregnant, so they'll have more soldiers. And they don't care how they get those soldiers. Baby mamas make great little soldiers. And they make mad little soldiers, and they make mean little soldiers. And that's what they like. Some of the mold, someone that had anything, nothing, no male influences in their lives. That's what your country wants for you. Now it's election time, and they're all going to say, oh, man, conservatism, that's the way to go. No, that's not the way. We've seen what happened in the last elections. Let me try to fix this a little. We've seen what happened to our group, and we've seen nothing really happen. Nothing at all is really going to happen. They're going to lie to you, and we're going to be coming around all year. You'll see from all parties. He's going to be your next best friend. He's going to be the guy that is going to take care of all men's rights problems. No, they're not. No, they're not. They just want your vote, and they will lie to you to do that. Now, a lot of people have vested interests in what happens in America. We see a lot of Canadians come around, and they'll have an interest in what happens in American politics, and they'll want you to vote one way, but they don't get a vote. We'll see a lot of people from England come around, Joseph Paul Watson and that whole gang of Breitbart come around. But they don't get a vote. What they really want to do is do what the Russians did and do what the Ukrainians did, is sway the vote their way. We get people from all over the world trying to sway the vote in America and get America's, because they know that there's large trade deals. There's things that are in their interest. A lot of the policies in the world follow the American policies. And if you can push a new policy through, then yes, everybody else in the world is going to follow that policy. And that's the way they think. But they don't get a vote. You, me, whoever's American in here, we have to live with the results of those elections. And the results of those elections is usually very anti-Mgtow, very anti-men's rights. Now, I wish there was a Mgtow president, a single bachelor president that was going to go, hey, I'm going to stick up for Mgtow. I'm going to stick up for men's rights. But he wouldn't get elected. Because, well, unfortunately, about 70 to 80, well, I figured less than that, about 62% of those people out there are traditional conservatives, and they believe in marriage, and they believe in that. 24% of people will never get married just because they don't want to get married. The rest of the 16% or so are usually Mgtow men's rights, or people that already that agree with Mgtow. That's not going to carry no vote, but it will carry a little for a party, and that's what they come around to try to get. That's 16% of the votes that think like men's rights activists and thinks like Mgtows. We're going to get saturated. Oh yeah, you'll see. Stick around here. It's going to get crazy around summertime and the end of summer around here. There are going to be people telling you, you have to be this party or you're not Mgtow. I got told that you're not Mgtow, Joe, because you're not involved with some party. That's bullshit. Your personal vote is your personal vote. I don't care who you vote for, really. It doesn't matter to Mgtow, because they are not going to do anything for us. Right. The females, they have a majority. I don't know which way females vote. Some of them like being fat and pregnant. If they're fat and pregnant and they're ugly and they got some guy taking care of them, then that's okay for them. They like that. They don't want to go to work because they're fat and ugly. But for most Mgtows, we don't want to have to fill those traditional male roles. And one of those traditional male roles is going to put you in the worst position in your life. You're going to be paying child support. And then she's going to move on to the next Chad. And then you're going to be paying for that guy to sleep on your couch and eat your kids' food. And that's when it becomes offensive. And that's when it becomes slavery. You want to volunteer that, just listen to the next Tradcon that comes around, the next traditional conservative that comes around and starts swinging his bullshit and his rhetorics around Mgtow. And go on, vote that way. You're just voting for female traditional roles that aren't really going to happen anymore. Feminism, and what they call feminism and how women, it's just how women think. I don't really care what they call it. It's just how women think. They want to go to college these days. They want to be independent. They want to sleep around with anybody they want to. I don't really care about all that stuff. But I don't want to have to be the guy that takes care of them. I don't want to be put in that traditional male role. I'm not a father. A father's a made-up thing. You've heard me say this a million times before. If it wasn't made up, how can a stroke of a pen and a judge's desk take it away? If it was a real thing, you wouldn't be able to take it away. But we've got an election year coming up, and we're going to have to put up with all these idiots come around. I've seen a couple of them today. They come around and I'm for the traditional conservative, and I believe in everything you guys Mgtows are saying, but you got to vote for my party. You got to be a traditional conservative. That got Mgtow in so much trouble. Up to about 2014, we were growing at a massive rate. But we ain't growing no more. We ain't growing no more. 2015, 2014 are greatest years. We estimated some 2 million Mgtows. 2, 3, 4, 5 million. I don't know how many Mgtows there were. But there's not as many now, is there? It's not as many now. And for the last few years, I've been hearing all kinds of people coming around saying, oh, Mgtow's going to die. It's going to die. Well, yeah, Mgtow's going to die if we let the conservative traditional, the Tradcons, take it over again. So it's Friday night. I hope you're having a great night. And let me tell you from experience, I've witnessed all this. I've seen it all before. I've seen it happen in Mgtow before. They come around, they start bullshitting you about a lot of things, and they tell you, oh, if you're not a traditional conservative was never Mgtow. MRAs are never Mgtow. They're always want to get the woman back they want to get them back in the kitchen, cooking for them, cleaning for them. They want slaves because they never figured out how to make their own bed or cook for themselves. They are boys. They are boys. They want a new mommy because they can't never get over not having, after they're 18, their old mommy won't make their bed for them no more. So they want a new mommy. And on the other side, I don't want to fill that male role. I'm not a father. I know that now. And that was never Mgtow. Go back, listen to some Barbarossa videos. You've heard it ever since you were around Mgtow. Tradcons. What's a Tradcon? It's a traditional conservative. He wants to go back to the 50s. He's so delusional that he thinks that's going to work. He thinks he can force women in. Yeah. You ever ask a woman to do something? Yeah. How'd that work out? Yeah, you guys know that. Jesus, you're not stupid. Mgtows aren't a stupid bunch, but we're going to get to see it. We're going to get to hear it. There's going to be a whole lot of rhetoric going on for this next year, and I just want to turn it off, and I will turn it off, and I will not put up for it. There's a few things that we don't fancy to, and we don't cater to in Mgtow. It's Tradcons, simps, white knights, cackling hyenas, and beggars. Them are the 5 clowns of traditional conservatism. Them are the 5 demons inside of every man that can come out at any time. That's what we cure. We cure. That's why I do this. All your simp sins are forgiven from the past. All your simp sins are forgiven, man. Go your own way, Mgtow. But don't bring that garbage back in and try to tell me that simp sins are somehow Mgtow. If they have their way, the traditional conservatives, all Mgtow will be is like a bunch of college frat boys. And the only prerequisite to be a Mgtow is you're a bachelor. And that's not even a philosophy. That's a joke. That's every college frat boy out there running around trying to get a woman pregnant so he can figure out if someone was telling him the truth about child support. Yeah. Go find that one out. But I think in Mgtow this year, we got to start calling them out. We can't let it be because it almost destroyed Mgtow in the last election. We don't care about that. Mgtow is, I don't care who you vote for. Well, don't vote for, a feminist, but but short of that, I don't care which party you're on. Both parties equally, they have some good things about them, and they got some bad things about them. The right has Tradcons and Tradcons in it. The left have these really awful people. But on the left side, you have union men, hardworking union men that want to get paid good for hard jobs. The guys that cut down trees and go on fishing boats and work in steel mills and electricians and plumbers, the guys that make your cable come to your house, all those guys. But that's personal to you, wherever you fall, whether you work in a shop, whether you work in, vote your own conscience. Vote your own conscience, and that's it. But don't vote for a tradcuck. I don't know who the candidate is. They don't have a candidate, and there ain't a Mgtow candidate, and there ain't a men's rights candidate. So really, it doesn't matter to me. You know which one I'm going to vote for? The one that greases my palm. That's who I'll vote for. And that's personal to me. And that should be personal to you. One that puts money right there. You know why I go to work? Because he pays me. Otherwise, I wouldn't go. So, short of that, I don't want to hear none of the garbage from these guys saying you have to be this, you don't have to be that. But they're pulling your leg. There ain't no going back to the 40s and 50s. There ain't no more admin out there slapping the girls on the behind, knocking a little off in the closet. That was a fantasy fiction. That was a fantasy fiction story. That Disney fairy tale, that final fictionalism that most men draw up in their head. They're going to have that perfect wife in that perfect house with the picket fence. She's carrying a cherry pie to the door with her little apron on. It's like, I'm so glad you're home. God, I missed you so much. I'm going to be true forever to you. Not going to happen. As soon as you leave that house to go to work, she's calling her girlfriends. Let's go out and have some drinks with the guys. Women don't want that either. I don't want to force that on women as a Mgtow either. I don't want them in the traditional roles. You know what I want out of women? You know what I want out of feminism? I want them to take responsibility and agency for their own body. When they spread them legs, that's their choice. Yes means yes. No means no. I'll respect that. If they want to have a baby, they can have a baby. That's their baby 100%. That's what a judge will tell you, because you're not the father. You can draw up those fantasy fiction things in your head, but that doesn't make it true. And at the stroke of a pen, anytime she wants, hence, all women are that way. All women are like that. The Newalt argument. Any moment she wants to just bug out, bring a Chad in her life, have him sleeping on your couch and eating the food that, by the way, you're paying for, and it was your couch until you lost it in a divorce. And guess what? You get to pay for his food too. Ooh, that sounds like a good deal while you're living on a quarter of your pay in a one-room apartment, if you can afford an apartment. But most of us end up living in our cars. Yeah, vote traditional conservative. They'll bring you right back to that point and tell you all those traditional lies. You ain't going to get the woman back into the kitchen. She ain't going back. Too much water under the bridge. She's got choices now. No matter what you think you're about that, you ain't going to force that back the other way. Unless you see a Mgtow or a men's rights activist as president, that's a single guy. You tell me when that happens. You tell me when that happens. Right. Yeah, like that's going to happen. 98% of those people are married in Congress for a reason, because they will uphold that right. They want both parties in their roles. Feminists won't go back in their roles, and I'm not going back in that role where I'm slave protector and provider, so I can be dumped on, so I can be the disposable male, so I can be kicked out of my home or removed from my home at a whim from a police officer. You want to volunteer for slavery? Go ahead, volunteer for slavery. Not me. I'm not on that train. And this year, we're going to hear a lot about it. Election year in America, where all the lies come out. Well, what changed since the last one? What changed since 1972 in America for men? Can you tell me anything? Anything changed? No, it's actually gotten worse. It's actually gotten worse for men. And that's the hard part to take, because I had to sit there and watch that whole thing unfold. Every couple of years, we get real excited. Oh, we're going to change all this stuff. And it never changes. I've been watching men's rights for 40 years. And nothing changes. We have to change those people in those offices. As soon as there's 50% single people in those offices, 50% single bachelor senators and congressmen, which I don't see happening for 1,000 years. And then they'll start getting the realization. Yesterday, I did the thing on the twin tenets of the twin relics of barbarism. All of our laws come from them twin relics of barbarism. They transcended down through the 20th century, and they became what we have now, the gender battle, because we never fixed it back then, and we let the Christians take over. Yeah, good idea. Let the Christians take over, the people that believe in an invisible friend. Not that the Mormons were any better, because they have an invisible friend, but if you ask any Mormon, he knows it's bullshit. Even South Park did a video on that. Hello, Whiskey. Hello, Dude Solitude. Hello, Joe Buddy. my buddy Joe Buddy. Hello, Lionel. Hello, everybody that's come around today. We're just talking about traditional conservatism. And we're going to see a lot of that come in. We're going to see a lot of that come in this year, the Mgtow, in the form of entryism. People trying to sway votes. Because who's American president does make a difference in the world. He's the leader of the free world, and everybody's going to follow that. But that has little or nothing to do with us. That has little to nothing. And they're going to try to convince you that there's some magic place out there. Yeah, where the girl is just going to jump back into those traditional roles and she's going to start baking apple pies. Wear an apron, meet you on your steps in your big house. And she's going to be happy to see you. Baby, I was so lonely all day. I was just thinking about you and only you. I was married for 16 years and that never happened. It's the dredge. It's the arguing. It's yelling. It's having to work too hard for too little. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. And she hates your guts most of the time. Fill those traditional roles. That'll kill you by the time you're 60. But Mgtow's got that figured out. We figured that out. We said, nah, not going down that road. Not going down that road. We try to tell the young kids. I mean, I know they want to delve into that V. The split V is all important to them. And those are the young kids and the younger subscribers and the younger Mgtows are more, they're more prone to start listening to the traditional conservative message, because the traditional conservative message, they promise you one thing. That's going to be in your bed. That split V is going to be in your bed every night so you can abuse her. Do you really want to live with a girl that you abuse every night? Nah, I don't think they appreciate it. Something tells me they don't appreciate it. And the only reason they're really staying is because you're paying the lighting bill and the car bill, and she gets gifts, and the electric bill, well, the gas bill, and the house bill, and you're going to work and killing yourself. That's all they really appreciate. No big L in this world. There's no such thing as love. It's just a bunch of chemicals going through your brain that tells you that your heart's palpitating when you see her, caused by pheromones. That's because you're stupid enough to believe in that traditional conservative way. Now you're just a zombie. You're just a slave. You want to be that? Not me. And that all starts with filling those male roles that traditional conservatism says they want to bring back for you. They want to do that for you. Somehow they love you and they want to do that. You know what I call that? I think you hate me. You want to do harm to me. You want me to die early, to work myself to death and be miserable. And you even want me to tell myself that all that suffering is worth it. Think about that for a second. That's what they want for you. And that ain't Mgtow. I want to just go for a ride on my bike, go fishing, take some time off, heal. Look at all the stupid going around in the world. I see it every day out there. Guys fighting with other guys for women. Peacocking. All the PUA peacocking just cracks me up. Just cracks me up. And then they shave their faces. You know what the you know what the secondary sexual characteristic of a male is? Yeah, is asking a man to shave is like asking a woman not to have breasts. Maybe there's some guys that like them without breasts. I don't know. Breastless women. Jesus. But there's a lot of screwy ideas in that, in those conservative ways, which are Christian ways, which were forced on us after the Civil War. What they said is you're allowed to think about any religion you want and have any religion you want as long as it's our religion. In God we trust, right on the dollar bill. Bam, right in your face. Then you can pray to an invisible friend that never shows up and never does anything for you as you're suffering. And that's what Simpson's paradox is about. You'll end up that poor guy living in a one room and you'll have hope. You can fill buckets and buckets of hope up. But hope don't get you nowhere in this world. You know what'll get you everywhere in this world? Mgtow. I've seen so many guys over the years come out of it, and within 5 years, they just, man, they're happy. They're happy. They're doing something that they want to do, and they start working on themselves. They start asking themselves about what were my simp sins? What got me into this trouble? Was I a white knight? Was I that beggar? Yeah, I was that. I was that simp. I was that traditional conservative. I was that cackling hyena. Them are all the introspections we have to do that hurt when you take the red pill and you come around Mgtow. They hurt because you got your telling on yourself. I was like every other guy out there. And I'm not doing that no more. I'm not a beggar. I'm a stoic male. And I have rules about these things now. And that's being Mgtow. And that'll make y'all sorts of happy. When I go out of this house every day now, I'm smiling. I like my life now. If I look back at my last 10 years in Mgtow here, last 15 years, I was kind of, first 5 years were rough. They were real rough. And I look back, I wouldn't trade those for any years in my life. I've done more, seen more, made myself so happy, figured out who I was in this life, what I do. I shedded a lot of things about who I thought I was, those misconceptions about what people wanted of me. I became what people wanted of me. You know my story. I'm answering the phone. How can I help you? What do you want? That's the way I'd answer the phone, because my utility was the only reason they were calling me. And everybody wants to use your utility. Everybody wants a slave. 20 to 30% of our society is slaves. 20, 30% of every society ever has been slaves. Seems to be a rule, a naturalistic rule. You'll end up there if you get a divorce. You will end up as that guy if you believe those traditional conservatives. It's a bad word in Mgtow, and they'll show themselves. We've seen one come around today, 320,000 viewers, talking all that traditional conservative stuff. Yeah, Jeff, them Christians don't like my e-bike because it makes me smile. Because I'm riding around smiling all day. Hey, Mrs. Jones. Hey, Mr. Smith. What the hell's he smiling about? Why isn't he suffering? He looks too happy. That man looks too happy. They're trying to figure out ways to make me unhappy, so I'll be just like them, like all the other crabs in the bucket, dragging each other down. The e-bike is the representation of my happiness. Because I'll tell you what, when I'm out there pedaling around the neighborhood, how can you not be smiling when you're riding a bike? Think back in your childhood. When you're a little kid, you're riding your bike as fast as you can down the street. You got that big retarded smile on your face, and you're like, you can have that again. You can have that again. You can have that big old smile again. But you got to give up that traditional conservative attitude, and you got to come in Mgtow, because that's where you'll get it. And we'll show you how to get it. We'll show you how to get it. And I don't care what people think anymore. I don't care what people say. I don't care about what feminism is doing, because it doesn't affect me nothing. As far as politics, I'll vote my own interests. I was in a union most of my life, and I worked at a steel mill. That's my interest. I want those men to have to work a little less hard. I want it to be a little safer there, because I've seen a lot of guys hurt. I've seen a lot of guys lose fingers and hands and break legs and fall from things. I've seen men burnt up. I've seen a men electrocuted to death. That's the way I'll vote, to protect men. I've seen so many suicides in my life, I can't hardly believe it. That's what I want. I want a politician that says, hey, we're going to fix this male suicide problem. And you know how to fix, you know how to make suicide end? You make this a world worth living in. But right now, we don't have a world worth living in. And that's what Camus says. Imagine Sisyphus happy. Imagine yourself happy. And a matter of fact, do one more and make yourself happy. And ain't nothing in the world going to give you that if it ain't inside you. You're going to have to find that all by yourself. There ain't no better tool in the world than Mgtow to find that happiness deep down inside. You know what that happiness comes from? That's from knowing you, knowing what you are, knowing what you do good in this world, knowing what your limits are, knowing what your pitfalls and downfalls and your character defects are. And once you know all that, it gets to be a breeze. You get honest with yourself. And I don't want no woman in my house fat and pregnant, because I'm going to have to take care of that. That's like another thing I'm going to have to take care of in life. Like I said, I'm not a good father. I was never a father, because that's a made up thing. In German, that means payor, or yeah, paytor, payer terminal. You'll become a payer just so you can have that. Juice ain't worth the squeeze on that one. Juice ain't worth the squeeze on you. Yes, the young men, they'll die for that, but that's because they haven't done that in their lives, and maybe they should go experience. And I say 200 miles and a fake ID, and you can do all that. You could do all that you want, brother, if you're that good. And that's a challenge to those guys. Go do it, Captain. Because I'm a realist. Happiness comes deep right here. It comes out of your heart. It comes out of your soul. Mgtow can show you how to get there. Take that deep introspection. Be happy. Make yourself happy. That's all I wanted to talk about. Don't fall for the traps. One of the biggest traps in this world is believing in that white picket fence, that somehow she's this angel, this goddess that's going to bake cherry pies from you. You're going to be coming up the driveway in your suit. Zippity doo dah, zippity day. Bluebirds flying around you, and your white picket fence opens up by itself, and she's like, I'm so happy to see you. Believe in that, jackass. But that's where most guys' minds go. That's that finalized fictionalism they have in their heads. That's that storyland America, the American dream that never really existed. That's that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. That's that dream they promised you, but it ain't going to happen. It's a dredge and it's a fight. And once you realize the reality is you got to live with another person inside of your house that hates your guts. You're both doing something that's really unnatural for humans living together. So thanks a lot, guys, for coming around. Thanks a lot, Hank and Jeff and Joey. Where's Joey? Where's Joey Aragon at? And Whiskey. Hello, Whiskey. How you doing? And unless somebody wants to come in and talk, I'll give it a few minutes and talk a little more. Maybe I'll put the invite board up, copy the clipboard, and I'll paste it all down in this corner here and send it on out. If you want to come in and you're in StreamYard, you can come on in and we can talk about things on a Friday night and share a few drinks or something. But otherwise, we'll wrap it up. I'm going 46 minutes. My God, sometimes I impress myself how long I can talk. I used to be able to do this for 8 hours. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Mgtow. That's, today, you know what? I just rather believe it rather than have to convince myself about it. And that's a good topic, I guess, someday. I don't have to convince myself anymore in Mgtow. I believe it. I've seen it. It works. It's a great program. It's a great program. Show us your backgrounds. You want to see my backgrounds? I haven't put a lot of them, and I have to make a background. I have to make my background. There's the brick wall. There's my beautiful house. Hello, come on into my beautiful house. I'm doing so well. I'm a PUA. There's my porn couch. It's all PUAs are millionaires and live in that. No, they just got green screens. This is my beautiful house. I'm a PUA. Yeah, come into my beautiful house. I'm a millionaire, woman. Right. That's where I go mountain biking. You can see the big hill starts way up there. I'll come out around here and then jump the creek. I heard you should see the bruise on the side of my leg. I had to get one of those big bandages because I cut open the side of my leg because I fell on the pedal. And the pedal, I keep those sharp pedals that dig into your boots. And I come down and I come down awkward and my foot fell off the edge and my knee went down onto the pedal and it cut my leg. It removed all the skin. It was like this big. So I had to put those gel packs on it. It was right around there when I went to jump the creek. There's my this way Mgtow, this way to happiness. Men working when I do soffits. And what's most important to Mgtow, imagine yourself happy. Let's just put on my happy place. That's my happy place there. I'm going to go to my happy place. So I hope you're all doing well on this Friday night. Today we're talking about conservatives and traditionalites and those people. They're going to come in and they're going to try to convince you that somewhere out there is that perfect girl. You know what it is? It's the bait the line. They put this imaginary idea on the hook and they're like, somewhere out there is this perfect girl. Mgtow's just become a traditional man. and then when they get you, they hook you like a fish. And then you realize, man, that bait tasted like shit. She ain't what I thought she was. She yells at me all the time. And it ain't worth it. But I'm married now. No, don't do that. Don't get hooked. Reality is a much better place to live in this world. I know reality's tough. The girls aren't angels. They like throwing knives. They'll steal your money. They'll hurt you. They'll run around on you. They don't care about you. And as long as you got the $100 bills flowing out of your pocket, that's the only reason they're really staying. It ain't your perky personality and your good looks, because there's always a better looking guy out there, and your personality probably really sucks anyways. Yeah, the bait and switch. Joey calls it the bait and switch. Hoka style. I like Hoka style. I was doing a natural up the street the other day, Hoka style, and then I went into a front wheel wheelie. That was really Hoka style. um, yeah, myth has it Hoka can do a front wheel wheelie for like a mile. It's like amazing, amazing. Throwing knives. Yeah, Claire throws knives. The archetypical woman. If you hear us talk about Claire, that's the archetypical woman that likes to throw knives. Mine didn't throw knives. Mine busted my elbow one day with a 2x4 while I was sleeping. That's about the same as throwing knives. My Claire used a 2x4. No conscience or accountability breeds evil deeds. Yes. Yeah, no conscience or accountability breeds evil deeds. Uh, yeah, yeah. And I believe in feminism. I think they should all get themselves some feminism and get themselves some accountability, find that agency, take responsibility for their actions, and get a job. That's all they want from them, to be happy. That's what most Mgtows want. I just want them to be happy, so they don't yell at me all the time in the grocery store and shit, and they're not throwing knives and everything. I just want them to be happy, because I want myself to be happy. And if it takes busting away from those traditional roles, I'll bust away from those traditional roles in a minute. I don't want to be the protector provider because some jackass up in Congress made some laws back in the Civil War that said I have to be the protector and provider. When 40% chances I ain't even the dad. And I ain't the father, and that's a made up word. But they convince themselves that that's the good system, why they all suffer. And it's good for the government that they all suffer, but our government doesn't want a lot of Mgtows because we're just not doing what they want us to do. And they can't make no money off of us. They can't have our utility. Of course, they want traditional conservatism. I even see the jackass Democrats. They'll talk all day about how progressive they are. Then when you go, "Are you married?" They'll say, "Yeah, I'm married," and you got to be in that marriage role. And I'll say, "Don't you know that's traditional conservative? You're you're a hypocrite." Fulfilling those forcing the female into that marriage, that role, that traditional conservative role, even though you're a Democrat, it's still a conservative. You're a freaking hypocrite. Jesus. And it just tells you how stupid Christians are. I was arguing with one today. I said, I got an e-bike and I haven't drove for 5 years. I saved 6,000 gallons of fuel. I saved 6,000 gallons of fuel. He says, well, this woman came on and she said, you can't ride an e-bike in urban cities. And I was like, since when? I could take an e-bike to the top of a mountain right there on the top of that and ride it down the top of the mountain. What's the difficulty in riding in an urban city, which I do live in an urban area? It's a jackass. And I was like, well, that's because they're traditional conservative. They believe in Jesus. Most of the people that don't like climate change, that don't want to argue climate change, they're just Jesus followers, and they believe in a whole bunch of bullshit. I mean, do what you can for the environment. Don't leave a footprint. I'm an old hippie. I believe in that. Don't need no 12-year-old little girl to tell me that. I just ride an e-bike. Don't burn all that fuel. And while you're not burning all that fuel, that'll save you roughly about, in the last 5 years, it saved me roughly about $18,000. Yeah, I'm sitting in the woods by my stream. That's what is that stream called? Oh, that's the French Creek. It's going to come into the Grand River at that point right up there. See, if you go over there, over that way, that's where I go fishing. You can find me down there most days. Just waiting for something to come up. Just keeping myself happy. And you know what, that loneliness thing, I was like, you MGTOWs are going to be lonely. I can sit fishing all by myself all day long, taking in the sun, or even this time of the year. And I was never lonely 1 second. As a matter of fact, it was pretty good. Take a cooler with you, have a sandwich. As long as you don't got a Dougie around, you don't have to worry about your sandwich walking away. But I was going to put Doug up in, but I decided not to. Uh, Anybody seen my sandwich? It disappeared. I don't know what happened to it. But yeah, it's a pretty good day. Being a Mgtow, being single, you don't got to explain nothing to nobody. You can go back there, anytime you want. Take your shotgun if you want. Go fishing. That's what men are the happiest too, when they're out in the woods, I think. Men, there's something about nature and men. We get back to our primal instincts. You'll start looking at things differently and looking at people differently, and it'll change your life. I know a lot of the millennials, they don't like the bugs. They're afraid of the bugs. The bugs aren't going to hurt you. Little dirt ain't going to hurt you. Sandwiches out in the woods. Yeah, ain't nothing better than a sandwich while you're sitting in your little hole waiting for a deer to come by with your shotgun. I love it. Making my sandwich. That's when they taste the best. When you're all alone in the woods, just be in your Mgtow. Ain't got to explain to nobody why you went fishing that day. It's just what you did. And that's the Mgtow life. You wake up and then you fill in what you want to do. Some days you're going to say, I'm just going to go fishing. Is that okay? My house said, yeah. No. Try that if you have a woman around. Say, I'm not going to work today. I'm going fishing. See what happens. Yeah. Do it because you can. Mgtows, yes, yeah. There's so many benefits to Mgtow. I can't even count them all on my fingers and my toes. I'd have a hard time counting them all with a calculator, the benefits of Mgtow. We can write them all down and tell them, they'll go, yeah, Mgtow, you're all right about that. And that's what I hear a lot today. The Tradcons come and said, yeah, you guys are right about all that stuff, but I got a desire. That desire rules them. They can't control it. They become simps and beggars and cackling hyenas and white knights and all those horrible things they do to each other. They have that V. to get in there. Sometimes I think they want to get back to their original birth weight, 7 pounds, 6 ounces, and get shoved right back in there. Son of a. But you'll find most with the purple pill guys. Them are guys that never made their bed, never had to cook their own dinner, never had to go out and do anything besides what they wanted to do. Mommy and daddy are still there, and they want to replace that mommy with somebody, another mommy. And that's the disgusting part about it. That's the disgusting part about the purple pillars. They want a new mommy, a new Claire. Whew. Wow. That's warped thinking. That is really warped thinking. And they'll do anything to get to that special place. Unicorn land. Bluebirds flying around you, all the flowers are magically growing. Oh yeah. Zippity doo dah, zippity day. They're on those magic hormone drugs all flowing through their head until it crashes one day, and that's the biggest crash. The king will fall. That's the biggest crash you will ever have. And then the judge goes, "You're not a father no more." And you go, "I thought I was. They told me I was. And them kids aren't mine? No, they're not yours. They were never yours. They were hers. They were hers. And now you got to pay for him, and her, and her boyfriend. You're going to have to feed him too. That's right. Because he's going to be living on your couch, watching your TV. Diddling your V. Good deal. Good deal. No, it's not. Okay. I think I've went on for long enough here on a Friday night. I'm going to go watch a movie. I was trying out my Amazon today, and I ordered that CBS so I can watch the new Picard series. And I don't know how I feel about it. I watched the first one today, and it's a lot different than the regular Star Treks, but with time and graphics and new writers and everything, I expect it to be a little bit different than the Next Generation one or the other Star Treks. At least it's not a female captain. It's the real Picard. Maybe they'll make a younger Picard. It's like the James Bond series. When James Bond got real old, they just brought in another James Bond that was young. That's what they got to do with Picard. They got to bring in another Picard that's young. They could do that with a time thing, time Picard gets stuck in a time continuum warp thing, and he comes back in time, and then he comes back as a 24-year-old or 30-year-old young and handsome Picard with a bald head. I don't know how they'll write it in, but I'm hoping they do that. Because I don't like, God, Captain Janeway, Jesus. Okay. But I was trying that out. I was watching NCIS and all the CBS specials, so I was going to try it out. $5.99 a month. I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, I have to rewind it. It took a bit. Took me 3 minutes to come up with it. What took you 3? Having close relationships with others is Hoka, Captain Hoka Picard. Yeah. Hey, Riff Bang goes. Hey Joey. Joey's in now. Hey Mgtow. I didn't see a slide in there. Hey Jeff. Hey Joey. Hey Whiskey. Hey everybody that's coming around. I don't know how many people are in there, and there's probably not too many. Nobody listens anymore. That was 12. But I'm trying out my new green screen, my fancy new green screen. I can still see a little bit. The lighting's not good, but well, the lighting's okay, I suppose. I'm not sure. But how do I know? I never took a class on lighting. But everything's great. Everything's fine. Everything's dandy for a Mgtow on a Friday night. I'm just going to sit back, and I made some pizzas today. I finally figured out the perfect recipe for perfect pizzas. Someday I should do a video on them, how to make a perfect pizza at home. I was so proud of myself when I stumbled upon it. It's like, man, I've been searching for you all my life, a pizza. It's like it's like having a perfect sandwich. But that's what Fridays are for. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy your own company, because you're the only person you really got. And if you learn how to enjoy yourself and enjoy your surroundings, life gets easy. Then you don't have all those desires, then all those things that you're going to have to pay for. And yeah, you're going to have to pay hard if you go down that traditional conservative line. And they'll lie to you and tell you that's going to work. That's the hardest part. That's the part that I did. The Christians will sit there and they'll lie right to your face, telling you that's going to work. And we all know the statistics are 86% divorce. From 20 to 35, the most important dates in your life, it's 86% chance of divorce from those times. But every shill lawyer in the world that wants you to get a divorce so he can suck some money out of you will tell you, oh, it's 50-50. You know why they say it's 50-50? And they're not lying, because it is 50-50. There's a man and a woman, and it gets split right down the middle, and that's 50-50. She gets a divorce, you get a court order. That's 50-50. But the two actual stats are 86% to up to 92. We're figuring about 92% nowadays of people. 8% of people actually make it to their late 60s and retire actually married, but that's 8%. 8%. Yeah. Them are good betting odds. You get 14% at the casino. And like my friend in Milk Apple there says, Joey, Mgtow's like having pocket aces. You're a winner. You're going to win. Mgtow's a lot of things. You have all your faculties, you're thinking clear, and you got pocket aces. How can you lose? We've seen one example of a Mgtow lost. It's the first example I've seen this year of actually someone that did Mgtow, didn't get it. Maybe he was just a conservative, I don't know. Didn't get it and failed. We had our first example of Mgtow failure in 16 years. Jesus. Them were pretty good odds. Mgtow is like 99.90. It's a betting on yourself. 99.99. You're gonna win. Just bet on yourself. That's Mgtow. And that's all I want to say today. Yeah. We've seen our first Mgtow failure. Poor guy. Too stupid to be Mgtow. But you do have to have a little bit of brains around here and realize what the world looks like. You have to be able to have observational skills besides that split V observational skills. If you can't see past the tip of your nose and past the split V, then you're not going to do good in this world. And Mgtow can't help you if you're thinking that you're going to do a resurrection, a reclamation project of the 50s. Not going to work. We are in 2020. Postmodernism came in, feminism came in, and we're in a different world now. I wish the Congress would change and start making rules that reflect that different world. Nobody wants to be in those traditional roles. Females don't want it. And most men don't want it. The only reason these traditional conservative men want it because they want that, but they don't realize they can have that too. Just don't volunteer for the slavery. And that's it. That's the message today. Thanks for coming around. Most of all, thanks for being Mgtow. Mgtow.